We're at Bradford for round 6 of the National Points Championship Shootout, sponsored by Neil Fitton Racewear. 2-heat format tonight, bit of a wet meeting which could play into the hands of some of the drivers who prefer wet shale. We have our shootout grid draw and we also have our driver spotlight. This week it's Frankie Wainman Jr. and 2-on-2 Danny Wainman. Round 6 of the National Points Championship shootout stage, and we've got Noah and Archie who are going to do the all-important shootout grid draw. Right, go on you guys, are you ready?
20 Liam Gilbank.
Liam. First out, Liam.
2-on-1 Phoebe Wainman.
Second Phoebe. That's not a good sign. Not a good sign.
191 Joshua Smith. 5-on-5 Frankie Wainman Jr.
Yeah, but Frank paid him some more money. He came. Sorry.
5-5-5 Frankie Wainman Jr. 16 Matt Newson. 2-on-7 Lisa Hurst. Number 5 Charlie Soda.
Every time, Tom.
259 Paul Hyde. 2-on-2 Danny Wainman.
It's not even in there. Right, put Tom's in now, Sophie.
84.
There you go. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Danny and Matt, do you want to come and present your goodie bags from Danny and Matt?
One of those.
Hello. We got pictures.
Spot on, thank you.
So we're at Bradford for shootout round 6, sponsored by Neil Fitton Racewear. Frankie, you're going to be our driver spotlight tonight. Everybody else has had rubbish luck when we featured them. How's your shootout going up to now? And then we can measure the success of this programme.
So far, it's not been great for me, to be honest. I've shown good pace, especially on shale, but obviously it's hard to get the points to sort of show how good the car has been. But I am looking forward to tonight. I'm 10th at the minute, which obviously I want to be a lot higher than that. Yeah. So I'll be going for it tonight, and I'll see how good I can go.
Mildenhall was a particularly good meeting, I thought, for you. You know, very, very much on the pace at Mildenhall.
Yeah, this car always seems to go well around Mildenhall, and to be honest, it's been going really well everywhere. But was it the first round at Kings Lynn?
Yeah.
That meeting, it was like damage, and then more damage, and then more damage, and it was one of them where you never really got a break. And it's, a lot of it, it's not just about having a fast car, it's about having that break and having that couple of bends just to settle down and make your way through the pack, and it's hard work.
Yeah, I think it was particularly noticeable last weekend at Skegness. So you got 2 rounds back to back. We were following Liam and Charlie, and it was hard work for them just to get a place. They were saying how hard it was because so many cars on track, and it's tarmac. You guys are racing together at the back. It's to make it that top 10 is really difficult.
It is really hard work, and it's frustrating because we'll all be within a couple of tenths of each other, and you have to be that little bit more to get away from them, and you're making your way past cars, and all of a sudden they're taking big dives at you and coming back past you, and it's very frustrating sometimes on tarmac. Shale, it doesn't really seem to be the same, but tarmac at the minute, I think there's a lot of people that will just hit anything in front of them, and it's frustrating. Yeah,
because you're racing as a group, but you almost seem to slow yourselves down because you're fighting down there, and first and second are almost catching you up because you're just dicking around with yourselves, aren't you?
That's it. At the end of the day, you've got cars going off the front that are really quick cars, and it's if we have to catch them, then we should be not touching each other at all. But at the same time, you don't want to let others get away, so you've got to do it. But it's one of them where you've got, it's just frustrating, very frustrating.
Yeah. So you said like you're sort of 10th in the points, round 6, another 4 rounds to go, including this one. Where are you aspiring to get to in that table?
Realistically, I have my ambition as top 6.
Yeah.
And obviously at the minute I'm 10th and a fair way off. So, but we've got a few shale rounds coming up which I seem to score better on. So I'm excited for them, and now, you know, see what I can do from now on. Yeah,
because we are shale. Apart from the Hednesford, it's a shale run now, isn't it? So.
Yes. Yeah. So good run, and obviously there's the double points meeting here at the end of the shootout. So this usually goes half alright round Odsall, so I could score good points then. But then again, I might not, because it might be another meeting like Kings Lynn where I just get damaged.
So in terms of tonight, we're looking at the meeting, obviously the guy in Heat 1, but it's looking a bit of a wet start.
Yeah.
Are you good in the wet? Are you okay in the wet?
I enjoy the wet, yeah. Well, I say enjoy. Usually I do half alright in the wet, but I don't think anyone really enjoys it.
No.
But
Right. I think go after Heat 1, and we'll come back and talk to you after Heat 1, and fingers crossed into the final, the first attempt.
hopefully we can see how it goes. Thank
Danny, we're focusing on you today and Frankie as well. Little Ted. Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's a family name. I can't say that.
It's just, everybody knows it's Little Ted.
Okay, we need to crack on because like you need to go out and Heat 1.
Yeah.
Shootout so far, rolled at Mildenhall. Skegness was a bit of a disaster.
Just been, I can't swear, but the swear word for poo.
8th in the points.
7th?
Sorry. I reckon, is that Heat 1?
No, that's somebody practicing.
But how's your shootout gone in all seriousness?
Rubbish.
Yeah?
Yeah, no luck. Like my season, just rubbish. So hopefully 2022 ends soon and we can go for 2023.
But where do you want to get to? Because you act like say you're 7th.
My aim was to be top 5 the whole time, but I've just been that bad in qualifying heats and then just no final national results. It just puts you down the order, and at the end I'd like to finish in top 5, but just finishing races I'll be happy with now.
Yeah. Okay, so we're doing the driver spotlight with you tonight.
Yeah.
It's looking wet out there. You happy with the wet?
I am when I'm racing in it. It's just when you're washing the car after and you're like 3 hours later and you're just nowhere near done it. It's just awful, but you've still got to go out there and put on a show for the crowd that are here, and hopefully it's a good night and it holds off from now.
Yeah, it seems to have passed. We have got a run of shale. Have you been using one car on both surfaces?
Yes, I'm back in my car now. We was hoping to race 2 cars again this season, but engine issues. I've only had one, and I prefer racing this one, so I've gone back to this one. And I better get in because
you need to go in.
Sophie's going to be shouting at me soon.
Yes. So. We'll talk to you after Heat 1.
Yep.
When I got it in right, it was spot on. Yeah.
I feel sorry for you.
By the end of the night, you can tell the camera's pointing at me. He's going, I just don't want to be here.
I know, we have to do good and bad. That's the thing.
Joey Nips on that. Great, but
Frankie's come off track from a very muddy Heat 1. Got 4th, we think.
yeah, it was a
poor start.
it was a hard race. Like I'm usually half alright in those conditions, but that out there, it's one of them where there's a line between really fast and like, you know, double a lap time because you've gone out wide a little bit too much, and it's hard to, because you often feel the slower you go, the faster you go in.
Yes.
And it's one of them, we're telling yourself to, right, I'll go in a little bit slower here, and I'll just gain all the way.
That must be really quite hard to do that, because it's not like you've got a 2-hour race where, you know, you've got 16 laps, and it's, you know, you've got to do that.
Yeah, it is. And I set off down the first straight. I was on the outside where it was really, really wet, to be honest, and I kind of went backwards a little bit. Obviously, the people down the inside set off, and I got spun going into turn 1. So when the first yellows come out, when the yellows come out, I was completely last. So I was it's a bit like, right, you know, it can only go uphill from here.
So do you take a positive spin on that then? Because, like, you know, you yellow flags, you sat dead last, and it's like, right, really?
It's one of them where if you're at the back, you can sort of pick your way through the traffic, because a lot of the time it's the guys that are in the middle of the pack that are going to tangle with each other and stuff like that. And a lot of the time when you're at the back, you can avoid it. You know, you've got the breathing room to sort of avoid them crashes. But no, we're happy with the car. a few tweaks we could have made to it, but obviously the track will be completely different in the next race I'm in. So anyway, so
if it doesn't rain and then you've got a very dry line appearing, then we get some of that kind of like wet, sloppy stuff away, and then it becomes more raceable.
Yeah, definitely.
Turns 3 and 4 looked quite tricky. Like certainly coming out of turn 4, it looked like really hard for everybody to get out and round.
Yeah, it was. It was. You know, like I said, it's one of them where if you try a little bit too hard, if you're going a little bit too deep, you're just wasting your time. You're on the outside, you're this way, you're that way, you're trying to get going again. But it was all right. The goggles packed up halfway through, so
they spoke to you about goggles before you went out.
Yes,
they said goggles. You're like, you're all right, they're cocky.
No,
they're all right. They're all right.
They were all right, to be honest. But there was a wave yellow that helped me out a lot, so I was able to swap and put my spare pair on, and then I was away again and I was happy.
Perfect. And so you said car's fine, so what is it now? Just scrape all the shale off and away you go?
Scrape shale off, because it'd probably weigh about 3 tonne with all that shale on, and then we'll have a look round, maybe swap the tyres, see what we think about. But obviously we've got plenty of time before the final. We've got the Heat 2 and consolation, and the track will be completely different for then, so we've got a bit of time to watch the track, see what it's doing, and try pick a good setup for the final.
And you just, before I leave you, you've got last weekend's race winner helping you today.
Joe Nichols. Shout out to Joe. But yeah, he's helping me out today. He's a really good lad, and I think he kind of enjoys it. He won't admit he does, but I think he does.
Good. Right, we'll talk to you after the final, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Super. Danny, just come off track after Heat 1. It was a bit rushed because we were like, I want to talk to you, and you were like, I need to go out. You went out, and I think it helped you because you got a third place.
Yeah, I got third, so I'm a little bit happy now. The car felt really good, and the track was bad conditions because of the rain, but hopefully now there'll be a few races. I'm straight to the final, so we can see what happens to the track now.
Car all good?
Yeah, car was running really good. I normally struggle in the wet, with this being the tarmac car. It does struggle when it's wet, but it's probably the best it's ever felt then, actually.
Do you know in that race there, because it was quite spread out, did you know you were third, or do you know, was it easy for you to kind of like...
Yeah, I kept an eye on Matt and Jake. I was battling with them for a little bit, and then there was a bit of a pile up down here, and I lost a little bit of time there to Matt, and once we got going again, you sort of can read a race. When I race in New Zealand, you've got to learn to read races really well, and as long as you know who you're around, and if you keep with them, and then I could see Matty were not too far ahead, and he was winning, so I knew I had to be somewhere near the front.
And you know when we spoke before, you said I want top 5. So are you concentrating a little bit around, who's in kind of 5th, 6th? Are you kind of...
At the minute, I just want to finish some races. I've had that much bad luck. I just want to be... I like finishing races, and last week at Skegness on the Sunday, I didn't score a point. And I think in about 5 or 6 seasons is the only time I've not scored a point.
Okay.
And that to me has been quite a good thing to hold. Because a lot of top drivers don't score some points at some meetings, but at least every meeting I'd scored a point. Okay. So quite annoyed me last week. So we're going out there then and getting third. It makes it better. I'm not like fighting for who I'm passing. I just want to race and get places really.
I was supposed to try last week, and he had by his own admission, a really rubbish kind of Saturday at Skegness
and a Sunday.
Sunday.
Just get that in, Charlie.
Well, it wasn't a great weekend. But like you get to Monday, and then right, I've got another stock car meeting. How do you pick yourself up to go again? Because it's quite difficult. I would imagine.
To be honest, Monday this week we're different. We don't work Mondays normally on the Monday nights. But this week I had to because I couldn't work Tuesday and Thursday. So I was back straight in it on Monday, and it's different for me because I'm going back to Shale. So if it were another weekend at tarmac, I'd have been just so depressed in the garage. But getting the car ready for Shale is a different thing because I prefer Shale handover over tarmac. I don't get on with tarmac. It's soul destroying how much it costs to be competitive on tarmac, and then when you go out there and you're racing for literally lasting top 10, it's not good.
No, I get that. And when we came to see you were talking about one car and sort of the transition from Shale to tarmac, and is that kind of working still a little bit? Yeah,
it is. I did like to be back to 2 cars by now, but not 2 cars, one for town, one for Shale, but just 2 cars that I can race, because sometimes, like this week, I had quite a lot of work to do on the car, and I didn't if I had my other car there and it was ready to go, I'd have just jumped in that.
Yeah.
But I try and have everything very similar. So
Well, it gives you time back with your family, doesn't it? And doing the other things that aren't stock cars, because it.
Yeah, it was this week. We had, unfortunately, it was Jesse's granddad's funeral, and with Jess living down south, we had to go down for a couple of days and just sort a few things out. And so I didn't get a lot of time on the car this week, but we put some steel work on it. I've gone to one of my dad's really old front bumpers I found in a we always say the main cost of stock cars is tyres and stuff, but the price of steel now it's gone ridiculous, and the quality of it is rubbish.
Right.
So where a new front bumper normally lasts about 5 or 6 meetings, he's doing about 3. So
Right. Okay.
I found
You're hitting people harder.
it's definitely not that.
No. Okay.
I drive a lot slower than cars. But yeah, it's not a case of just tyres that are cost money. It's little things like that, and I think we're going to see a hit on car numbers through the rising cost of everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So when we get to next year, there needs to be a real consideration what the fixtures look like, because it isn't sustainable potentially.
Yeah, it's fuel, it's tyres, it's brakes, it's everything now. It's even your food shop.
Yeah.
You know, we come on these big trucks and we try and like kit them out with food and drink for all your mechanics and stuff, and that's an extra 20 quid, and that's an extra 20 quid. So it is going to take a hit. I know next year we're not going to be doing it. We'll probably do about the same amount as we did this year, which haven't been a right lot.
Yeah.
So unfortunately,
it's what's affordable for you, isn't it? And I guess when you want to come, you want to be competitive, so you want to spend the money.
Yeah, we do. And less is more sometimes. But unfortunately, you get some meetings then that's got really low car numbers. And you read on the internet, but they were the best meeting I've been to all season. So you don't technically need lots of cars to make good action. So hopefully next year people take that into consideration.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Danny, thanks so much. And I'm going to come and talk to you after the final. And you've parked in a really good spot, because we've got a beautiful spotlight, so we're all good.
We're all good.
When it gets proper dark.
I'm parked in the best spot though.
No.
Mud here. Come on, Russell, get your spade out. I've got a big grinder. Oh, right, yeah.
Thank you. Just come off from we haven't just come off from the final, because you've been dicking around like over there for ages. You were doing very well in the meeting final.
Yeah.
4th at one point.
Yeah, well, first shootout drive through, it was going really well. Best it's gone for a while. I actually felt confident. It was really good, and I dropped Joe moved at the fence really hard, bounced out, took the front end out, and it still carried on, and then back outside shock and collapsed. So. Right,
okay. As a result of that, do you think?
I think a little bit later on I hit Joff wide and climbed up him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I got a flat tyre.
Yeah.
Track's that rough, I think it's a case of just you either go out balls out, my language, and try and win, or just ride round at the back and get a top 5 nearly.
Yeah, well, I think Lee kind of like was out, then came back in, and he sort of, just toured around, because he obviously got damage as well, and picked up the points.
We're just rushing like mad now to get it back out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you popping over. So so in terms of front and back, both?
Well, back, it's just a back shocker, so that's all good. We're just trying to straighten the front end and get some strength back into it, so I can use the front bumper a bit more again, and we'll see how it goes on.
It was a very much a brutal stock car race, was that? It was a brutal stock car race.
Crack on.
Thank you, done it.
No worries.
Right, so we came to talk to you after the final. We had a bit of damage. and we're coming to talk to you after the Grand National. So DNF in both, but the final was a bit of a brutal race as a recap.
Yeah, it was. I went out on the second lap or something. I had a car going slow in front of me, and I sort of hit them, and then obviously I got the rest of the shootout lot behind me. They came into me, and then they pushed me right rear wheel right under and bent me link arms and stuff like that. So that was the end of that race. One of them stock car racing, you get that, you expect that, and then I went out in that one and clipped a parked car. Well, it wasn't parked, but it was still moving.
It was not moving very fast.
And then popped my tyre.
Yeah.
So that was that, and it's frustrating because the car had some decent pace in the first heat, and I was looking forward to the rest of the meeting, but you get these nights in stock cars and it's two little incidents, and that's you out the final, out the national.
Yeah, and the final's the key one, isn't it? Because that's where you're getting your most points.
Yeah, definitely. But in all fairness, I've watched the final and national from on the infield, and there's quite a few of the shootout lot that didn't score well tonight.
Absolutely.
And it's just that brutal out there. It's real hard to score where you're starting where we're starting. So it's one of them. You've got to take what you can get.
Yeah, very similar to Skegness than we talked about at the beginning, isn't it? That you're struggling to kind of get anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's not so much with tarmac. It's more the guys at the front are very, very fast and they're almost on pace with you. Whereas on shale, it's more you've got to get from the back to the front without tangling, without clipping it.
And Bradford's hard for that anyway.
Yeah, very.
But more so when it's so slippy out on track.
Yeah, the track conditions made it very difficult tonight. But
because he's next, look, he's getting very.
Kill two birds in one stone.
How was your Grand National?
Mine was all right. I think I got 4th or 5th.
Good.
Yeah, it was all right. Not a lot of damage, but it was a brutal race.
Yes.
And Tom was first sticking him in.
He was. Yeah.
Must have been a bit pissed off after the final.
A little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's been nice talking to you, Jonathan. We've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I don't know about little Teddy. Thank you very much.
Have we done now? Have we done? Bye-bye. Thank you. Just my last question, I guess, I suppose. And you guys had a lot of work to do to get it out for the Grand National.
Yeah, it was link arms and bits like that, and when one thing goes, usually it leads to another thing going. So we managed to put it back together, but it wasn't 100%. The right rear shocker was completely dead. Not bent, just no resistance in it whatsoever. And you can feel that when you're going round. The back axle, I'm fairly sure, is bent, but we got it back on track and we tried to get it somewhere near to try to score some points, but obviously flat tyre and you're out the race.
Yeah, of course. I think the shootout is what's really demonstrated. It is a brutal series, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I think that it's 10 rounds and it's a lot of effort, a lot of expense for you guys as well to try and kind of claim that silver roof.
It is definitely. I mean, it was like Skegness. I didn't have the best of tyres, and you could feel it. And then you put on a good tyre. You put on your best tyre, and the car's all of a sudden it's transformed for the next race, and you're somewhere on pace. And then you go out again and it's nowhere again. So it's frustrating when you haven't got the money to bolt on new tyres all the time. More so on tarmac than shale. Shale's not as bad, but obviously new tyres are always going to help. But yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to why I'm quicker on shale than I am on tarmac comes down to money side to and not being able to bolt new tyres on.
Of course.
But that's all part of it, and when you're doing the shootout, it's one round after another after another, and it's
incessant. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
It completely drains you financially, and it completely drains you physically, because obviously we've got God knows how many cars every weekend, and now that the shootout's about, we're getting more damage, and you want to make sure the cars are even better than what they were mid-season. So there's a lot of time and effort goes into it. But I'd just quickly like to thank all the lads that help us out all the time, and all the sponsors as well. I mean, without the mechanics and sponsors, none of this would be possible from any team. But our lads especially, they put in a graft, 2-3 times a week, and you can't thank them enough.
No, and especially tonight when it's cold and it's wet and it's muddy and they're doing all this.
I sat on the infield for the final of the national. Or spent too much time. And
it's a good view though.
They're all right to start with, but when the adrenaline sort of goes and you just sat there, you think, wow, it's and you sat there like tensing up, but you can't move, you're strapped in.
Yeah.
It's, you can get fairly chilly out there, fairly lonely.
You need to take a book or something next time, maybe. I don't know.
I always thought about taking my phone and playing a little Scrabble or something, but I'd probably get a bollock.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good that you're smiling after, I guess, a disappointing meeting. Well done, and thanks so much for taking time to talk to us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.